Hello guys, my name is Rajan Siramat Khan. I'm fourth year BSc Honors Software Development student at GMIT. In this first part, I'm going to show you the multiplayer 3D game which I try to develop. It's not complete, but is working fine. So we need more time to enhance this game. Okay, I start with running the game on the local machine. You just need to be into the folder, into the game folder for the multiplayer. Then you just need to type node server, and it will start the server for the Node.js. And then you can see here that it's listing on port 300. Just open up your browser, and this is actually on Heroku. Same thing on the Heroku. I uploaded here. You can see it's on the Heroku website, and locally I will run up here. Go on local port 3000. It's up here. It's running, and I'll show you on the multiplayer up here. And here on the Heroku, if you type your name, Raja, and you type in message, it will go up here and it will show here on the chat window, and you can copy and paste, and you can open up the same here, and it will instantiate another object. Look here, there are two cars, one here and one here, and you can even chat from here as well. You can say John, and if you send message hey, if you send it, this will be gone to the another object here, where you can see here John is this, and it's firing as well, shooting. Just I couldn't complete it because it's need a little bit effort to it's even colliding with each other. Just I need to make the calculation for it more, so that it can hit each other. But I have done everything in the single player mode. I will show you. First of all, I will show you the code behind this whole thing. So if you go on here and the multiplayer up here, I'll show you first the server. Server is it's actually very simple. Server is not too hard. The server can be run just, this is the Express, because we run the server on Node Express and socket to the multiplayer communication with each other. This is just a generic method to run the server, and here is the generic as well to connect. This is just console log, that if somebody is connected, it's gonna just log the ID. This socket.emit, this is emitting, but emit is only to the client which is connected. It won't go to any other client, only the client which is connected here on. This is coming from the client towards us, and this is coming from the client as well towards us, and we are storing all the details of the cars, because there will be lots of cars, and it means multiple instances, multiple browser will be running, so we need to track the details of them, that where they're going, when they're shooting. So this will track of all of that, and this broadcast is broadcasting to everybody. Everybody means everybody on the network. This is assigning all the values whichever browsers are joining, clients are joining. They are sending them their keys as well, and storing it here as well. And this is they're storing the location here in this car array for them. Broadcasting, again, they're telling all other clients where the cars are, where the location is, and this will delete if the browser is closed. This will delete the car from the socket, so that it disappears from the browser, and it will broadcast to all others, so that all the browser have an instance of that thing deleted. Now whenever the button is pressed, this is gonna fire the ball, and this is when somebody is joining. This is the function which is receiving the messages from it, and then sending back the details to all other broadcasting all other windows as well. And that's the server. Now I'll go to the main thingy. Main thing is that how the thing is developed in the screen, and that thing is actually same as the single player as well, but you can see here this is the generic method canvas engine. These are the keys pressed for the ball, for left, right. This is for the socket for the communication. This is to store the game. This is store the enemies, because this will be storing your own details. This will be storing the enemy's detail and the object, and because this will communicate from server to client, client to server. This is all generic methods connection. This is sending the unique ID from the server. It's on, so it's coming from the server to here, and this is assigning ID to our game object, and this is emitting thank you to, and this thing enemies cars are created, or the cars are created, then the details all saved in the enemies the data array, and when is the ball is firing, it's sending back the detail, then this thing is getting the details back, and the details going in here, so it's signing in. This is when somebody is leaving or closing the window, this function runs and it emits the left and it disconnects the socket, and on the other side server deletes it. This is same thing when somebody else leaves, like this is for us and this for some other people leave it, so it's coming in there and then it's disposing of the other cars from our window. This is emitting join. This is for the chat window. This feature is just the div name, and the div has all the data coming up and showing up here. This is the form which is sending the details to us from the chat window. This is creating the game. This is render canvas. This making the the graphical user interface or scene. This is making the car, and this is rendering the car. This is making all the details like scene, ground, camera, and the car. This is making the ground from the height map, and I'm using the HMap1, and size is 2000, and all those results can be found on the Babylon website. These are the materials. This is the lightning tool, because without lightning I cannot see anything. This is all the other details for the camera, because camera is moving with the car on the key presses as well. This is the back camera, which will be rotating and going out, and this is how the car is made. This is multiple shape I made, and then I added those shape in an array so that we can make the one shape of the car. And this is the material of the car. This is scaling of the car. This is rotation function of the car. This is all other material, color, and everything of the car. This is used to send all the state to the server, so we need to send the object of whole car to be visible for other clients as well, and and this is for the other clients data to convert towards us and saved in objects, so that we can store X, Y, Z, and whenever they're moving, wherever they're moving, we can see it or render it in our screen. So the data means if the data of the car is different cars, so we are making the color yellow, I can make it to color red, whatever you want to make, you can make it here like, so if I say red, it will be turned to red, and we are saving those enemy in this object of set state, and we are saving all those enemy in the array as well, because it could be too many enemies. This is car move function. Just how the car moving. That's the front vector of the car. When the W is pressed, car is moving with the collision, means car can collide with the other, and this is the front vector, because we need front vector to adjust the position when the car is turning on the sin and cos angle, and as well we need to fire the shooting from the front as well. And this is the sin and cos we are counting here for the car to be rotated like it's steering like a normal car. And this is we are sending all the detail to server, and this is we are sending when we are firing or pressing B, so that is shooting and it's emitting it to. And that's how we are making the ball. It's not too complicated, but it took a lot of time when we were making the project. And this is the physics imposter. Physics is like gravity and the collision, it's like a real world physics, and it's coming from the canon.js file. This is event listener, so it's listening the event from the window. This is pointer lock, means if somebody wants to log. So this is the modifying setting. Is the thing is much doing actually is just locking the pointer or the mouse pointer, whatever you can call it, on the screen. This is where different browser have a different name to lock, because if we use the same name on the all browser, they might not recognize that what we are trying to ask them as event listener. And here these are the just event listener for key presses. This is for key down, means when the key is pressed, and this is for key up when the key is left, when it's not pressed. Like you can only fire when the key is pressed down from here. It shouldn't fire when the key is up or left. And now I will go to the single player mode, and the single player mode I will only show you whatever we did not discuss on the multiplayer one, so that it won't be hard for you to understand. If you look here, these are all the fires for the PHP. Here we are registering and sending the data to MySQL, and that PHP is registering it to the MySQL data. This is for logging out. There's a command to log out from the login. This is for the logging in form. This is the index for the login form. This is where you are going when you are going on to localhost index. Database is just a connection. So dashboard is where you are going, and where you will see, I will tell you where the dashboard is. Here you can select the single player, multiplayer, and the menus are there. Auth session is just connecting to the database. There is a password and the detail for your database. And this folder you have a single player game. If I go into index, you know, it is just generic. There's a canvas and the HTML. So, and in this here, look, this folder contains the JSON for the dude to be imported. Images are all the images used are here. Here is the CSS. So all the sounds used are here, and this is where the JavaScript file are the main logic file here. If we go into, this is Babylon Max.js. This is what we use as a Babylon 3D engine. And if we use the main.js, if we edit it, you will see it's nearly the similar. I will tell you only which things are different than the multiplayer, so that we don't take your too long time. This is the class for the animated player. The guy who's moving up and down, who we shooting, is working with this class, and we made a whole class, and in that class we assign the function and shooting and everything, and scaling means how big is the size of this thing. And this is the code which I used, that when the car is moving, so this thing should move towards the X, Y, and Z direction of the car, so that it starts reaching towards the car. And but it will be instantiation in the random positions as well. If you see, that's just the scene, and which scene we are using, which scene is the active scene. This is just to move forward, backward, and which camera to use, the direction and front factor of it. And this is the imaginary box we built around it, so that we can get the collision as well, and we can destroy this thing as well in case it touches our ball, or whatever we call the bullet. And here we are getting the imaginary box X and Y's, and this is when the animated character is shooting. If you can just press Y and move the mouse button, and if you press the mouse button, it will shoot, and you will see the small crosshair in the front of you. It can shoot that. This is where we adjusting the position when that animated character is moving. It is all getting us the direction of that imaginary box, because the imaginary box has to travel with the animated character, so we have to keep track of X, Y, and Z position of. This is the imaginary box we built. Here, if you see that we have created this box, imaginary box, and then we have assigned all the scaling. These scalings are the same scaling as the size of our animated character. We have the boundary sets, and this is, we have collision sets, that whenever something touches to this areas, and it detects it and it returns the value, so that we know that we have to destroy this object. And as well, all of them don't collide with each other. If you don't put this imaginary box, and if you don't declare those X, Y, and Z position, they all submerge together, like they become only one animated character, because you can't see it, just go into one and each other, like, you know. And that's when they get hit, this particle system is emitted. This is kind of small blood, and this is the color of the blood we have declared here. Particle system is basically a system which releases small kind of animation when something gets hit. This will decrease the health each time we are here the animated character getting hit, and I set it to 3 so that it gets destroyed when 3 times it gets hit. So that's the function which we use to make those hit visible, and that's the function which is getting our element from the canvas and giving it highs and everything. This is the scene. This is here we are making scene and making we are rendering the tank, we are making the fireball, we're moving all the enemies and our all car. This is the build of second 2. Scene 2 means here I have built nearly 3 scenes. Like when you're going into teleport, it changes the scene. So that's why I built 3 scenes here, you know. So if you see here, I have made one tree which is made of different meshes. I couldn't find anything, the ready-made model of the mesh, so I just made an imaginary shapes and just made the tree. So you can see the tree up here, and that's just the random size of it. Those the leaves I made. They're not like a leaf, but you can see they will look like a leaf. And that's only the material. This is the sky box. That's how I made everything is inside that box, and this diffusing this sky type of texture, you know, so you can see the skies around your clouds and everything. This is the scene as well when you're teleporting. This is the scene 3rd one as well, and a skybox in that as well. This is creating ground from the height map. If you see this material for the ground, and they create ground from the height map, and that's the map2 file I use, and I gave dimension to that thing. And when the ground is created, these are all, if the scenes is changing, the height maps will be changing as well according to the scene, and material will be changing. Lights, load the scene, load the crosshair, this is the set manager, which will be showing us the animation when you load something. If you see the animation, this comes because of this assets manager, and it helps the load the assets like sounds, images and videos easily, and until they are loaded you can see the nice kind of animation. This is for the camera. This follow camera, I showed you these things all, so I don't think I need to explain this thing. Create tank I showed you as well, and it has the ball function, tank move functions, and everything else is here. And just I need to show you now the game. If you just go into the WAMP servers, WAMP64 should be on your C drive and www folder, because it's a PHP kind of files there, so it has to be stored in this www folder, and the www folder will be serving us that index file as a PHP. If you go into him, because I named it a login, so you can name it anything. Just start the WAMP server. Once the WAMP server is started, you can just go onto your Google Chrome, or I'll use the Google Chrome. I made it on Google Chrome, so I'll prefer that you use Google Chrome as well. Just go into localhost, and because I have a subdirectory, so if you just say / it should load if you have an index file in the root directory of your www. But I made another directory login, and it's inside the login there is an index file, so I have to do the / login to go into that directory. That will take us to the login page. You see here, if you click this thing, it will take you to registration page, and you can register, and it will be sending all details to MySQL database. But I have already saved one password. I'll show you here, 123 and login. So you are in the dashboard. That was the dashboard file was. You can log out, you can go in multiplayer, but I didn't start the server, but I showed you in the video that how to start the server. If the server is started, you can use this multiplayer and it will take you to multiplayer mode, but I have that multiplayer in Heroku loaded as well. And you can press, here is your ID, and you can press single player, and your single player starts here. If you see, you have a small chat box here. If you just click it, it will ask for your name. Just enter your name there, and okay, and type your message here. It's a single player game, guys, so don't forget that. So I cannot use on a different browser, and but so you can see here is the score, and here are the two. This is the just random. Here is, you can just see what's happening. If you, I can go and play it. Look, if I move the car, you can see the car moving in the first scene as well, and the second scene. And if you press B, you will start shooting, and you can hear sound. If you press F, you start flying the paper plane, and if you press R, you press the race, and if you press Y, look, you are able to move the animated character, but it doesn't do anything. Didn't get much time to make him shoot as well, but I tried to make him shoot. If you go on to, if you press Y, you can make it work, but I didn't get much time to make it. If you see, only our car is if you press T again, we go back to our car, and if you see this where is the rabbit and that thing, I'll show you. I made some rabbit, and I'll tell you now. First, this is the teleportal, and if you go into it, and it will change the scene, and you see the sky. I made the sky box with this thing, so that's the sky box. And if you go around, and if you see, the sky is different. Just the height map, so the ground I couldn't find too many places, so I used the same ground file there. So we'll go back, and I'll show you how the height map looks. Again, it will change the scene. It gets slow because too much load on it, and you see the score is increasing as well. If you just press here, you can start moving the object as well, you know. If you just do the refresh, you will see the ground. This is the asset manager. This is the thing, the cool thing I like it's doing. So if you see here, you are able to move this camera with your mouse click, and this camera is shooting. I know it's stupid, but this camera is shooting as well, so you can shoot with this camera, you know, and you can hear this to people here, but it's not affecting everybody because I did not bother to work on it too much. And this is the 3D model I made, 3D tree here, and hopefully you liked it. Thank you, and thank you very much for Mr. Brian McGinley for teaching us 3JS and teaching us the basic mathematics we can use on the graphics. Thank you very much. Another thing I would like to mention, it looks like a very simple game, or you know, people think it is very easy to, but look, in working all this thing in the JavaScript is not easy. It needs a lot of mathematics and everything, and I'm not that brilliant in mathematics, but I'm trying to learn. So hopefully it can get me good marks if somebody can understand that JavaScript is not a cup of tea of everybody, you know. Thank you very much.